Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. It is hashtag finally Friday, June the 7th. Good to have you with us on this Friday. It's the weekend upon us. One person who's always busy on weekend, my co-host this morning, Randy Ramsey, is joining us live from her home. And Randy, it's been a busy morning for you because you've been up most of the night for what exactly?
Not most of the night, but I did get up at 6 a.m. to start painting the mud kitchen that my son is installing at a local preschool for his Eagle Scout project. So please pray for us tomorrow when it's going to be in a heat index of 100 and something awful. And we're out there doing landscaping and installing a mud kitchen so small children can, dig in the dirt and not get in trouble from their teachers. But yes, I still have paint.
Well,
You
good
should
for
have
you.
seen me 25 minutes ago. It was really not a sight fit for human consumption.
Well, you made it now. You're all cleaned up. You clean up well, at least, huh?
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, Todd. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I try. Well, we want to thank everybody joining us this Friday morning. We are here most Mondays through Fridays. We're live at 10 a.m., Facebook and YouTube. But Randy, they can always catch us in social media anytime and on HCCTV as well.
That's right, because we are on Facebook, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and also HCCTV at noon, 5 and 10, Monday through Friday.
Okay, so it's Film Friday as well, by the way, Randy, and we're going to catch up with a guest I know you have lots to talk about with. She is an HCC alum who's now a filmmaker and in the leadership role of a Filipino organization, Cybil Joy Pallugna-Saenz. Good to see you, Cybil. Cybil's going to be joining us in about 10 minutes. Randy's going to be with you, and you guys can just catch up because it seems like y'all know each other very well. Randy, you're very familiar with Cybil, right?
I am. Cybil's got a swamp fiscally sponsored project, Urban Trade, that she's going to talk about, but also Cybil used to be at Swamp as our program director. So we're super excited to see her and super excited for all the success, but also love the Filipino American National Society. They do lots of great stuff. So I'm super excited to hear what's coming up from them.
All right, we'll be with you in about 10 minutes. We'll get that started. But we've got a guest in studio right now. We're welcoming another local media outlet that's also active with community engagement initiatives. Stephanie Coleman's joining me right here. Good to see you, Stephanie.
Good to see you too. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you are the founder and publisher of Tré Magazine and TréTV, and yes. I've got the magazine right here. This is a high quality. When I first met you, I looked at this magazine. I'm like, this is incredible. It's like a coffee table book. Now, when did this particular edition come out?
So that one came out last year.
Okay.
And before the pandemic, we came out every month.
Okay.
And now that people move differently, we're
right.
just finding different ways to reach people where they are. And our next issue comes out this month.
Now, tell us a little bit about Tré, the magazine, and also TréTV, which, we're looking at maybe doing some things with you guys in the future as well.
Well, I have to thank HCC. Tré was a concept.
Yeah.
I had this idea. I moved back to Houston and compared to New York City, it was just hard to navigate again.
Right.
You need cars. And I said, I've got this idea. I think community can come together with corporate and we'll name it after a community and it'll be Tré. And I came to HCC with scraps of paper.
Yeah.
I was like, I got like this thing and this idea. And you guys have vision. And you said, I think I see it. And that was the first ad that we ever had. So it's been like I have like a special sort of love affair for the openness of HCC and HCC leadership to be able to make that decision.
Yeah.
Because even I walked out like, oh my God, now I got to pull this off, right?
Yeah, now I got to get going. We were a catalyst. Now it's time to get working. Huh?
Yes, and so it grew and it grew and it started out with 24 pages and then it went big and small. Right. And now community has really said, we have more great stories and we want to be a part of it. And the magazine was just too slow.
Yeah.
And so TV grew out of that.
And that's what you have your own YouTube channel as well. And by the way, if you're interested in Tré magazine or the TV portion of it, TréTV, we'll have some links in our social media posts where people can find you. But you also had a very special connection with the gentleman who worked here for decades. Very special us, and he just passed last year, Larry Payne.
Yes.
Maybe you can tell us about your work with him.
Yeah, so Larry Payne, I think it's sort of the part of that HCC family love.
Yeah.
He saw the magazine, he saw the value. He was also at a radio station and I said, I don't really know how to do this. This sort of grew out of a small project. I thought it was going to be a newsletter.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, well, come on, let me sort of show you. And he taught me how to like do radio. And then he said, well, come on, HCC Dialogue Houston. And then he sort of told me, like, don't wear patterns that do too much, right? Although clearly I forgot but Larry just really showed like the journalism part of storytelling and the responsibility and the weight of it for us to do what's right and well. And I'm just forever grateful because it didn't make it a fluff magazine.
Right.
He sort of showed me that it was okay to do something of quality. And even if you're one of a few, you'll find other people who value that. So Larry was great.
He always had those words of wisdom. You know, you could be, every time he'd stop by the station, if I was here, he'd poke his head in my office. He can I have a word with you, you know, and he'd sit and we talk and we hit some ideas and some of them came to fruition. But Larry had, I believe it was the longest running show we've had with Dialogue Houston, you know, and invaluable. You never, you know, we'll get more programs on the air. You won't have another Dialogue Houston and we'll never have another Larry Payne, but it's glad to see he was able to work with you and inspire you in the beginning as well.
He did, and he reminded me that it's a global Houston. Right. So I'm speaking from my lens. My family came out of Third Ward. It's African American. But it's a global city, and everyone is connected. And Larry was really wonderful about speaking to the whole human.
Right.
And for that, I hope that Trey sort of follows in that way of telling story.
Now, you started with the magazine, you moved into TréTV, and I know you've been working in the past with Houston Media Source, which is another one of our partners. You know, we're partners with HISD, Houston Media Source, and also the City of Houston's municipal channel as well. Tell us a little bit about TréTV. If someone goes to your YouTube channel, what can they find?
So we have several shows. So the first being a one-on-one. And there's some amazing people in Houston who we just thought we needed to tell just who are you actually, right? We hear the thing, you only have 5 minutes to tell your story, but just a space where they can have conversations. So recently we interviewed playwright Thomas Melanson, who had a play at Main Street Theater recently. And then we also have another show that's coming out. So that's called Trey Talks. We also have another show that we've done with live music. So that, you can sort of enjoy the bands and kids have been able to come out. So it's a very open space that people can play with their gifts and their talents. And our job is just to open up a platform where they can be unapologetically creative or talk about health and wellness. We had a musician named Rags come on. We had Solel International Eclectic Music Organization and Group, and just really it's an evolving. We've also celebrated students. So we had an internship, which is, now that I say that, with HISD that partnered with the program that you have at HCC for anyway, they get a dual degree. Dual credit. And those students went out and did interviews throughout the city. So they got to interview the Dynamos and interview some local restaurants. So all of those stories are on there.
Well, we've talked about, you and I talked a little bit about possibly getting some of your programming on HCCTV, reaching a broader audience. So you may see some of it on HCCTV as well, but also maybe doing some collaborative efforts as well, because you guys really have a niche, you know, and trust me, you know, I've watched a lot of TV and this is very good quality programming, what you put out there. Where do you see, I mean, you've come this far, you've got the magazine, TréTV is up and running, looking to expand. Where do you see the Trey organization going in the next few years?
Well, I looked up when I had to acknowledge both my birthday coming and what that number was, and did the math and realized that we celebrate 15 years this summer.
Wow.
So from a scrap of paper to like 15 years. And I mean, it's life, right? So it had its seasons. So what I would hope to do is that there are more stories. So how might Trey create platforms that puts Houston stories beyond Houston? All of the new people who are coming in should also be able to celebrate you are now a part of Houston, but this was Houston as well. This was the legacy, this was the history before the buildings were torn down. This was what the Astrodome did. So I would love for Houston and Trey to be able to expand its stories nationally so that locally, because we're a global city, people really become Houstonians at heart, not just because my job moved me here.
And that's the biggest criticism I see in the national media. They're like, Houston's growing, but I think what I read somewhere this week that Houston was rated the #1 most polluted, dirtiest city around.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on now. Really? I mean, I'm just not buying that. I mean, you go run along Buffalo Bayou in the morning. Beautiful. It rivals anywhere in this country with the beauty. It really does with the scenery. Yeah, it's a little hot, but guess what? So Chicago at this time of year.
And Arizona.
Arizona, you just don't have the humidity, and it keeps you younger, folks. I got news for you. She's 78. All right.
Right.
We all look great, for our age. I'll be 90 next week. But no, seriously, I think Houston gets a bad rap nationally, and we do need to get our stories out there, and I think you've got a wonderful idea with it. Get to that national market. Well, we're looking forward to working with you in the future. Maybe we'll have you on this show more. We do need co-hosts from time to time, so we'll reach out to you for that. But Stephanie Coleman, Trey Magazine is the name. And where can people find the magazine? And what's the best way to reach you on a website?
So the best way is thetraymag.com for the website. We are throughout the city. We make sure to be in schools and libraries and restaurants and shops so that community can be a part of it, and they can sort of local be celebrated. As of this month, we'll be available on Amazon as well. So subscription was a logistical nightmare. I was like, I have to run to the post office. But now we're doing, as well as being able to get it online, if people want extra copies, that they can also go online and get a soft cover and a hardcover version of the book.
A hardcover version of the book.
And that's a real coffee table book.
It is an incredible product that you have here. We look forward to seeing it in the future,
Thanks
Stephanie.
For having me on.
And by the way, Trey stands for Third Ward, correct?
Third Ward, yes.
Third Ward D from U of H, man. Go Cougs,
You really know.
Yeah, I know. I'm all about it. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you very much.
Good seeing you. All right, Randy, I'm going to let you take it over, and you've got a guest from your Swamp Days joining you as well.
I do, and I'm so excited about Trey. And you know what? My friend Byron, who owns Gulf Coast Comics, had already introduced me to the magazine. So Byron.
Yeah.
But super excited, love it, super happy to see everything that you're doing. And and also I agree with you, Todd. Somebody tried to argue with me this week when I was on set that Austin has a better scene. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We have better art and better food and better museums.
Yeah.
Bite me, Austin. That's what I have to say to that. What ridiculousness. Cybil agrees, right, Cybil? This week we're super excited to have Cybil, I'm going to butcher your name. So you just say it, because for all the years that we've known each other, I can't do it.
Cybil Joy Pallugna-Saenz, just like it's spelled, but I know it looks weird for you.
Well, it's also that, my glasses are super gross from painting this morning, so I'm having trouble reading. Oh my goodness. Okay. So Cybil, we're super excited, is doing so much, and you're always got a lot of fire irons going in the fire. When you last were here, we were talking about your short Urban Trade, but that's pivoted. So tell us what you're doing with that project now.
So Urban Trade is still in development. We are pivoting to a anti-hero film about a Filipino mythical creature called an aswang. And so Linda, who is the lead of the first iteration of Urban Trade, is actually the aswang, and she goes after the people who human trafficked her and gets revenge. So I'm excited about that. But I'm also working in development on a documentary.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited to hear about it. So it's a local subject. So tell us all about that.
So in my early days, like early 2000s, I was part of this collective called ASHES, which stands for Audible Stellar Hypnotic Situations. and I was involved with the leader of the collective, which is also a band. His name was Jason Todd Williams, and just a few years ago, he was gunned down in front of his music studio, and he succumbed to his injuries. So I've been working on this documentary for a long, long time. I have all this footage from when we were younger. We used to throw these live DJ events and art shows and even suspension rituals where they hang people by hooks on their backs. So yeah, it was very intense. I remember one show, it was during Hurricane Allison, and we felt like by doing this suspension ritual, we brought down the rains. But anyway, that's part of
That's
the
a whole nother
documentary.
life.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother life. Yes.
I had so many iterations of life. Right now, all of my footage is on mini DV tapes and high 8 tapes. So I'm getting those digitized. I'm working with the TAMI, Texas Archive of Moving Images. They're helping me out with that. And I'm excited to put the story together. So there's so many to pinpoint on, and I'm looking for grants and funding for it. So that's why we're still in development.
Yeah, of course. You know, the documentary, people think documentaries just happen poof overnight, but it's a long process to develop a story, to secure all those interviews, to get the footage, to put it together. I mean, documentary is a long, often kind of solo project.
Yes. But everyone's like, who was involved with the project are really gung-ho in getting this story out because of what happened to him and how we want to uplift, because he was an only child, all of these things. And we just want his legacy to remain because he was a huge part of Houston and the Houston underground culture.
Well, I'm super excited to continue to hear about how that's developed. So keep us posted. But I know that we tried to get you on for AAPI month, but we couldn't just make the schedules fit because, you know, you're so busy. But I want to know more, and I know we all want to know more about the Filipino American National Historical Society.
So I am the vice president of that organization. It's based out of Seattle, Washington, and they've been around since 1982. And just like Stephanie's Trey, we are wanting to document and collect and share stories of the Filipino American experience. So not just Filipino, not just American, but the conglomeration of Filipino American history, because there is a large one, but nobody really knows about it because it's not taught in schools. People like me, I really didn't know about Filipino American history until I got involved with the organization because it wasn't talked about in my family. It wasn't really shared within the community because of one thing or another. Filipino. Go ahead.
If it wasn't something you were involved in, you know, from your youth, how did you get involved and when did you get involved?
So in 2019, there was this art show called Lumika, which means to make or create in Tagalog. And I attended it with my family, and it just opened my eyes to a whole nother part of the Filipino American experience. There were creatives, there were artists, there were people who just was expressing themselves in a way that I had never experienced before. Because when I was growing up on the north side of Houston, and by the way, I'm born in America. I was born in Chicago, and I've never been to the Philippines. So seeing this side of the Filipino community was just amazing because all I've ever seen is people going shopping, nurses. They're just like studious. They don't want to talk about anything serious about what's going on, like civic engagement. They're like, oh, just vote. It's okay. Or go pray. Everything will be fine. God will provide, stuff like that. And through that organization or that event, I met the founder of the Houston chapter of Filipino American Historical Society. Her name is Christy Poiseau. And she also introduced me to Dr. Pinky, her name is Pat Lindsay Catala Busqueno, who's the current president of FONS. And they instilled in me like, hey, you matter. You're part of this global history, this national history. and you need to really own up your story and share it, because that will help others want to share their own story and see how they also are a part of the Filipino American history, the American history, because many of us don't, because we are quote unquote known as the invisible Asians. We're usually uplifting others.
It sounds like the organization does an awful lot for folks, but I know that you have an upcoming event, so we want to make sure to talk about that before we wrap up. And I'm super excited. It should be a good event.
Yeah, it's the 20th Biennial National Conference that is being hosted here in Houston at the United Way Greater Houston from July 18th through the 20th. All sorts of chapters from all over the nation are going to be descending on the Bayou City. Most of them have never been here before, so we're going to open our arms and give them the Southern hospitality that we are all known for. We're going to have NASA tours, an exclusive Houston tour, and at the end, we're going to have this huge gala that's like a Filipino Texan theme. So it's going to be amazing and fun, and I'm super excited when it's going to be over because it's so much work.
It sounds super fun. It sounds great. And you're going to do the gala at Ocean Palace, which is,
yes,
super fun.
You're going to have good food.
Yeah. Hello. So people can get information about the conference and the chapter at the FONS2024.com website. Yes. And we will have that in our post after the show. We're super, super excited. Cybil Joy Pallugna-Saenz, thank you so much. I know, I just need to relax into it. I just get intimidated. My Polish friends say the same things. They're like, don't be afraid of a K, it'll all be fine. We're super excited to have you here. Thanks for being our Film Friday guest. And then I hope that we'll hear about all your upcoming projects again soon.
Thank you, Randy. Thanks for interviewing me and always being your awesome self.
Thanks. And give my best to Alex and the boys. By the way, people, her sons, so cute.
They're getting old, just like
they
me.
are. Well, aren't they all? I mean,
that's what kind of happens when you feed them.
Yeah, that's true.
They grow. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you both. Thanks a lot. All right, let's move on with a few announcements before we wrap up this Friday's show. One of a Juneteenth STEM and STEAM camp. It's at Missouri City, and HCC Southwest is partnering with the city of Missouri City for its annual Juneteenth Foundation celebration again this year. It has a variety of events lined up for all ages. It includes this camp for the arts and sciences, which is from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday, June the 11th. So that's this coming Tuesday, I believe. Landmark Community Center, 100 Louisiana Street, not downtown Houston, folks. It's in Missouri City. Don't get confused by that. So that's happening. We'll have some information, Randy, in our post after the show. And we've also got, I was thinking we had the same guest here because we just interviewed Cybil Joy Pallugna-Saenz. Now we have a historian event with Dr. April Palooka. What's the chances of that, huh?
I mean, it's just a lot of peas, but I'm very excited about this event. HCC is hosting instructional historians, copy editing, consulting, and teaching with a history degree. That is from 2 to 3 p.m. Tuesday, June 18th, online via WebEx. So check our post after the show for more info, but I love these meet and historian events because they are super fun.
Okay, another thing that's super fun, coding with AI robotics. That's a summer camp as well. We've got lots of summer camps going on, and this one's at HCC's Northeast College. It's a summer camp where participants will learn about coding with AI and robotics. It's free of charge, and lunch is provided. How do you beat that? It's free. The kids get away. They learn some AI, some robotics, and they get a free lunch. It's 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, June 24th through 28th at the North Forest campus. You know, we have these camps that are, many of them, in fact, most of them are free. Some of them have like a charge of maybe $35 for the whole week. And, you know, they're low cost and you get a lunch. So it's a great deal for kids. And we'll have some information in our post after the show for this as well. We've also got next week if you know, we were going to have graduation a couple of weeks ago, but we had the derecho decided to hit us instead. So we had to cancel graduation. Now we're holding it this coming Thursday, Randy.
Well, I'm very excited, you know, better late than never, and just super excited to celebrate all of our graduates. So TV's crew will be working on the ceremony, so there will not be up to the minute on next Thursday. But that's because we will be having our commencement on Thursday, June 13th. I'll be here on the 14th because we'll be back on Friday.
That's right. We'll be back next Friday. Okay, fall registration is open right now, along with summer registration. We've got 5 ways to learn. 5 of them, well, 2 of them are online, 2 of them are hybrid. 1 is in person, where you can take the traditional classes. To learn more about all of our programs, go to hccs.edu/apply. Okay, speaking of commencement, we've got we'll host another graduation special featuring students and our new Vice Chancellor of Student Services, Dr. Arima Adil. She'll be joining us next week. And later in the week, we'll welcome the new president of Coleman College for Health Sciences, Dr. Latricia Harrison. She'll be here on the show. So a lot of exciting things happening next week, and graduations coming up. That's right. So we're looking forward to that. Randy, busy weekend for you ahead, right?
As always, rugby and Eagle Scout projects. And,
I thought rugby was over.
Well, summer sevens are upon us, so, you know, it's just what it is. And then prepping for the Swamp Summer Camp, which starts at HCCA Leaf on the 17th.
All right.
So
lots going on. Lots going on in the Ramsey world.
Always. I hope that you have a good weekend planned. You're going to stay cool and have fun.
Yeah, I don't know about staying cool, but we'll have fun. Yeah. It'll be nice. Just a little relaxing. All right, Randy, have a great week. I'll see you next week. And I'll see all of you next week as well. We'll be back live Monday morning, 10 a.m. with Up to the Minute.